Hi everyone, welcome to English Today Journal. And hey, don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy learning English in a simple and practical way.
Holding on to anger does not truly protect us. It does not make us stronger. In fact, it often hurts us far more than it hurts the other person. The person who hurt us may move on with their life, but we stay stuck carrying the pain. Anger does not live only in our thoughts. It also lives in our bodies. When we hold grudges, our bodies stay tense, our muscles tighten, our hearts race, our sleep is disturbed. Stress builds up slowly and quietly. Over time, this stress can affect our health, our mood, and our energy. Holding on to resentment is like carrying a heavy weight inside your body every single day. It drains your strength, it steals your peace, and it keeps you tied to a painful moment from the past. Forgiveness does not change what happened, but it changes how much power that moment has over you. Choosing to forgive is choosing to release yourself from that burden. It is choosing healing instead of harm. And even the smallest step in that direction can begin to bring relief. Have you ever remembered something painful from the past and suddenly noticed your body reacting? Maybe your heart started beating faster. Maybe your shoulders felt tight. Maybe your stomach felt uneasy. Or maybe your whole body tensed up. That is your stress response. Your body reacts as if the danger is happening right now, even though it is only a memory. When we replay hurtful moments over and over and live in that tense state for a long time, our bodies begin to suffer. Anger and resentment are not only feelings, they affect our physical health too. People who hold grudges often experience anxiety, headaches, stomach problems, and trouble sleeping. Imagine lying in bed at night, thinking about the same painful memory again and again. Your body cannot relax. Your mind cannot rest. Over time, you feel completely drained, not just physically, but emotionally as well. This is the real cost of holding on to anger. Let me share a story that shows this clearly. Maybe you will recognize yourself in it. There was a man who had a serious falling out with his brother. It all began with an argument about money. Voices were raised, harsh words were spoken, and both of them felt hurt. But neither was willing to take the first step to apologize. Later, when I asked the man if he thought he might forgive his brother, he said, "Never." What he did was unforgivable. And so, the years passed, and he carried that anger with him everywhere. Whenever his brother's name came up, his face tightened. His voice became sharp. You could see how much the pain still lived inside him. But here is the sad truth. His brother moved on. His brother built a life, a family, and did not carry the same anger anymore. The man, however, stayed trapped. His grudge did not hurt his brother nearly as much as it hurt him. This is what often happens when we hold on to anger. We think we are punishing the other person, but in reality, we are punishing ourselves. Every time someone mentioned his brother, you could see the tension rise in his face.
His voice would change.
Even when he laughed or talked about other things, there was a shadow of bitterness in him. He carried this invisible weight for years, and it affected his health, his relationships, and his happiness. Holding on to anger makes life heavier. It keeps us stuck in the past. It blocks us from peace and freedom. And the hardest part is, we often do not notice how much it is costing us until years later. This story reminds us of an important truth. Forgiveness is not about excusing someone else's behavior. It is not about saying that what they did was okay. Forgiveness is about freeing yourself from the weight of anger, resentment, and pain. It is about choosing to stop punishing yourself for someone else's mistakes. It is about letting your body and mind heal so you can live fully in the present. Even taking small steps toward forgiveness can begin to lift this weight. Even imagining putting down the heavy suitcase of anger can bring relief. The first step is recognizing the cost of holding on, just as this man learned too late. The next step is deciding for your own sake that you deserve freedom from it. Whenever someone mentioned his brother, you could see the change in him immediately. His eyes would darken, his voice would grow sharp, and it was as if the argument had just happened yesterday. The pain was still very alive inside him, even though many years had passed. Meanwhile, his brother had moved on. He had let go of the anger. He had built a life for himself, a family, and he was not carrying the heavy weight of the past anymore. But the man stayed trapped in the memory. He could not let it go. The anger, the pride, and the refusal to forgive kept him locked inside a prison of pain. And slowly, this hurt began to affect other areas of his life. His relationships with other family members became strained because nobody wanted to take sides. Tension grew in family gatherings. He started having trouble sleeping. His stress levels stayed high. He carried the burden everywhere, even when he didn't realize it. What struck me the most was this. Deep down, he missed his brother. He longed for the relationship they once had. He wanted closeness, love, and connection, but his pride and anger kept him from taking even one small step toward reconciliation. I sometimes wonder, if he had chosen forgiveness earlier, how much happier, freer, and healthier his life might have been. This brings an important reflection for all of us. Ask yourself honestly, is that pain really worth carrying for so long? When we refuse to forgive, we often think that we are punishing the other person. But most of the time, the other person has already moved on. They may not even be thinking about us or the pain we are holding. It is us who keep replaying the memory. It is us who continue to suffer. The truth is, when we hold on to anger, we are punishing ourselves far more than anyone else. I am not saying forgiveness is easy. I am not saying that you should pretend nothing happened or forget that you were hurt. The hurt is real, and it matters. But it is also worth asking yourself honestly, what am I carrying right now? How is it affecting my life today? How is it affecting my happiness, my relationships, my health, and my peace? Resentment is like poison. When we hold on to anger, we think we are hurting the other person. But in reality, it is only harming ourselves. It steals our energy, our joy, and our ability to live fully in the present. It keeps us chained to the past. Every day we carry the grudge. Our hearts stay heavy. Our minds stay busy replaying the hurt over and over again. Now imagine putting down that heavy weight. Even just imagining it can bring relief. Your body could relax. Your mind could rest. Your heart could feel lighter. Your relationships might become easier. Your sleep might improve. Even small steps toward forgiveness can start this process. Forgiveness is not instant. It may take time, patience, and practice. It may not feel perfect at first, and sometimes you may need to try more than once. But every step you take toward letting go is a step toward freedom, a step toward peace, a step toward health, joy, and a life no longer controlled by anger. So, ask yourself, what might change in my life if I finally put down this heavy weight? How might I feel if I gave myself the gift of letting go, even just a little? That choice, however small, can begin to open the door to freedom, healing, and a life full of more peace. Even the very first small step toward forgiveness can make a difference. It can help you breathe more easily, sleep better at night, and feel lighter inside. And isn't that what we all truly want? To feel free, to feel at peace, and to live with an open heart. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting or excusing what happened. It means freeing yourself from the heavy weight of anger and pain. Now, you might be asking yourself, how do I actually start? How can I forgive when it feels impossible? Maybe the hurt runs very deep. Maybe the person who hurt you never said sorry. Maybe they don't even seem to care about what happened. Or maybe the memory keeps replaying in your mind, and just thinking about forgiveness makes you feel angry all over again. These feelings are completely normal. Forgiveness is one of the hardest things we are ever asked to do. It is never simple, especially when the wound is still fresh or when it has been with us for many years. But just like any difficult journey, forgiveness begins with small steps.
You do not have to do it all at once.
You do not have to force it. Think of it like climbing a mountain.
You take it one step at a time.
As the old saying goes, Rome was not built in a day, and the same is true for forgiveness. It takes time, patience, and gentle practice.
And that is okay.
Every small step counts. The very first step is to acknowledge the hurt. It may sound simple, but it is often one of the hardest parts. Why is that? Because sometimes we try to hide our pain, even from ourselves. We tell ourselves things like, "It's fine. I don't care. I'm over it. It doesn't matter anymore." But deep down, the hurt is still there, waiting to be noticed. Acknowledging your hurt means giving yourself permission to feel what you really feel. It means being honest with yourself, even when it is uncomfortable. You might need a quiet moment alone. You might want to write in a journal, or you might simply sit and reflect. Ask yourself gently, what exactly am I feeling? Is it anger? Is it sadness? Is it disappointment? Is it shame? The more clearly you can name your emotions, the easier it becomes to understand them. Understanding your feelings is important because it allows you to take the next step. You cannot start to forgive if you do not know what you are forgiving. Naming your emotions also helps you release some of the tension that comes with holding them inside. When you acknowledge your hurt, you are not saying it is okay what happened. You are simply facing the truth of your experience. You are telling yourself, this happened. I was hurt, and it is real. Once you acknowledge your pain, you create space for the next steps of forgiveness. You begin to see that forgiveness is not about the other person. It is about your peace. It is about your heart and your life. Step by step, moment by moment, forgiveness can grow. And even the smallest step, simply noticing your feelings, can start to lighten your heart and open the door to healing. Forgiveness is not instant. It may take hours, days, weeks, or even years. But every time you take a small step, every time you face your feelings instead of hiding them, you are moving toward freedom. You are taking a step toward breathing easier, sleeping better, and living with more peace. And that, in the end, is the true gift of forgiveness, one that you give to yourself. Once you acknowledge your feelings and begin to understand them, you can start to heal. This is the foundation of forgiveness. It's important to remember that forgiveness is not about excusing what happened or pretending it never mattered. Forgiveness is about freeing yourself from the heavy weight of anger, hurt, and resentment. It's about reclaiming your peace, your health, and your joy.